Hey friends, welcome back to Unheard Stories. Today's episode, an incredible topic awaits. What's a women's thing men should absolutely start doing? Story 1. As a former cook and current welder, hand lotioning. My dad refused to use hand lotion for a while, and he kept getting big cracks in his hands. The cold would destroy his skin. He would only put lotion on when it was issue with hands, by which point it can't really do much help. Story 2. Sewing. Sewing is awesome. I learned basic sewing to make some bow ties for my wedding, and it's an extremely rewarding skill that allows you to repair clothes, save money, and it's superb meditation. Story 3. Putting a blanket on your lap while you work. It's life-changing. Story 4. Complimenting each other. I do this with my coworkers. Looking sharp today, Phil, is all it takes to make a day. Story 5. Skincare and applying sunscreen. Yes. My husband applies sunscreen like it's the last bottle on earth, and he's afraid he's gonna run out. He literally will dip a fingertip into the tiny amount on his hand and put 4, 6 tiny dots on himself, rub them in, and be shocked when he looks like a lobster later that evening. He also relies on his chest hair to keep his chest from burning. Spoiler, it doesn't. Story 6. I was trying on jeans for work the other day, and I found this magical material that stretches but looks like denim. I was in awe of them, and my wife laughed and said a lot of women's jeans use that material, and a lot of hers are the same. Men should discover these jeans. Story 7. I work in a kitchen full of men, and it's quite sad to listen to them tell each other that they can't cry, or that they are not supposed to do so. I don't know who came up with this, but I fight that concept every chance I get. As a result, most of them feel safe to share their emotions with me, even crying. Story 8. Stretches. Yoga or Pilates is dominated by women. Better mobility, range of motion, injury prevention, indirectly improves strength, prevents joint pain, feels good. My 26-year-old cousin got her mom and dad into yoga with her, and amazingly the dad is now probably more into yoga than the entire rest of the family. He's been a car mechanic his entire life and absolutely loves it. He said it has worked out some pains he's been dealing with for decades. Story 9. Going to the doctor before they are at demise door. I work in admitting for an emergency room, and it's so common for men to say, "Because my wife made me came," when I ask what brought them into the emergency room. They come in with handwritten notes sometimes. Sometimes it's the wife standing in their way from getting up and leaving. But I've seen that as well. I can remember men coming in reluctantly with their wife who were found be having heart attacks. Oh, and I'm the wife too, and I'm told my husband's doctor always says, "And what does Mrs. want you to be seen for today?" And yes, I'll often send a note. Story 10. Talk to their friends about their mental health. I encourage my husband to do that with his friend. I was noticing that his friend was becoming depressed. Too much stuff was happening to him and he was having a hard time dealing with it. I spoke to my husband about it because he's the guy's best friend, and I think he would be able to talk to him since they have been friends for 20 years. I'm glad he did because they are starting to open up to each other about their mental health. I'm very happy about it too because his friend really needed someone to talk to about his troubles. Story 11. Not a women's thing, but a lot of women start therapy, and it's something guys should do too. I found that most men I know refuse to do it. It all starts during childhood though, by talking to boys about their emotions and allowing them to be vulnerable and feel validated for experiencing them. Very few men have experienced that, and even in adulthood, people don't respond great to men showing emotions or being vulnerable. How people view and treat a woman or a man crying is a huge difference. Thankfully, it's getting better with every generation. Just really tragic for all the men who've never learned to deal with emotions in a healthy way. As a man, I never really had this growing up. I was legitimately told by the other men in my life to hide my feelings, and that men don't show emotion. Men are supposed to be strong. The worst part? I never even cried during either of my great-grandparents' funerals. I wasn't supposed to, and I actually had to get therapy at one point when I was 14 years old. The hardest part that I never even managed was just knowing it was okay to show emotion. All that went in those therapy sessions were just small talk, and the therapist trying to pry me open, of which I always caught myself. I never opened up to anyone until I met my best friend, even to this day, of which I met when I was 16. I just felt safe. The thing about therapists or counselors is that they try to get information from you, so going to therapy always felt like an interrogation. When I did open up, though, it changed me fundamentally. I wasn't alone anymore, and I learned it was okay to lean on someone when you need it. It's like I rediscovered myself. I'm glad I took that leap. Ever since then, I realized just how important being that shoulder is. You could save someone's life, but you won't know until you just ask how they're doing, how they're actually doing. Story 12. Be a parent and not just a provider. Making money for your family is not being a parent. Being a parent means playing with your kids, cooking them meals, taking them to activities, taking care of them when they are sick. Sounds obvious, but amount of grown men, my dad included, who cannot tell which grade their kids are in, who are their best friend or what's their favorite toy, is depressing. Moms are expected to just cover all of that by default, while dads are stuck in the 50s with going to work and making money. And then they wonder why kids are attached to their moms more. A pile of cash will not teach a kid manners. Story 13. I'm a man started carrying a purse satchel years ago and never looked back. I'm a new man. Breath smelly? Boom, here's some gum. Headache? Boom, here's a pill. Phone passed away? Boom, here's a charger. My little bag carries so much and has saved me so many times. I prefer a backpack myself because it stays balanced, and I have both my hands free, and I don't need to worry about it dangling from my arm when I try to grab something from the ground. And I have tried both. Story 15. Tell your close friends they mean a lot to you, you care, and they're important. Normalize positive physical touch. In the majority of my male-male relationships, only negative touch and negative vocalizations are allowed. Punching each other in the shoulder, light shoving, trash talking. These don't need to stop, but it doesn't need to be everything. I don't think I'll ever be able to tell my boys, I love you guys so much. Them snuggle up on the couch and watch movies like we hear is common with women. I guess I don't know if it's true, but sometimes people just need to hear that others care in definitely terms. More bumps. Grip then by the shoulder. Hand on the back. There's a lot of ways we can try to bring positive touch into our relationships. Same with words. Sometimes you just need to hear, I appreciate you. A lot of men take the, if I'm talking to you, it means I like you. I'm only hard on you because I care. Most of us do know our friends care. Been when it gets hard. Being offered affection without condition can be a real pick-me-up. Story 16. Making an effort to make their home smell nice. The way you clean, taking a shower does not actually clean your shower. Washing your bedding with more frequency, buy a few candles, etc. You will feel more relaxed at home, and clean sheets are better for your skin and health. Pro tip: Bath and Body Works room spray in the bathroom will be a game changer after your morning constitution. Story 17. Be responsible for themselves and the household just as much as they expect their wife or girlfriend to be, not just be an extra child essentially. There were a lot of issues, but this was a big one leading into my divorce. If I complained about doing everything and managing everything, the response I got was, just tell me what you need to do. And I struggled so hard to explain that a major part of the problem was my ex not knowing what needs to be done. I had constantly running lists in my head. When was the last time laundry was done? When did we last buy toothpaste? How much milk is in the fridge? How much of everything is in the fridge? I need to cook dinner every night, so I need to know what's available. Etc., all of it in my head, and that was the stressful part. I didn't need to delegate specific chores. I needed to delegate the mental energy required to track the chores. Story 18. Marrying people just for the money. I knew a guy who did that, or at least tried. He made the mistake of thinking she was a rich girl. Her parents were rich. She wasn't. He ended up with divorcing. Story 19. Regular foot care or pedicures. It's not about the polish, although that's nice. Having your feet scraped will make them feel and look good. Healthier nails, fewer calluses, and you will be walking on cloud 9. And I don't know if it's a guy thing, but stop peeling your toenails. Story 20. Be able to locate objects without help. Every time my son or my partner asks where something is, I can tell them a detailed location. They go to look for it. 10 minutes of delve. And then, I can't find it. I go to them. Go to the place I told them. Open the drawer or whatever, and it's literally right on top, and I pick it up. Found in 5 seconds. Where I work, we're mostly men. A previous coworker identified that a bunch of us do this and dubbed it man-looking because we have the incredible superpower of looking for something everywhere in our workshop except right on front of our own faces. They're not working with us any longer, but the phrase has stuck. Story 21. Treating yourself. Self-care. If that means fishing for a weekend, go self-care doesn't always look the same. Dude, I have a principle in my life. My Sundays are always lazy Sundays. I wake up, go make pancakes and coffee and watch a TV show. Then I go wood chopping or whatever. I'm proud of my lazy Sundays. Thank you for watching till the end, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.